Any Yehudi shevi dar liyisol b'Yom Tov. Im yesh v'menu b'mechuva ash mechus etzeder aser af lemi shelo yehuva b'shviloi la'achlo bo b'yom. There are two different halachas that we are going to be discussing, running after each other: muksa and being nana from halachas. And we're going to find that they don't necessarily go together. So if you have something which you have to assume that there was a malacha done, you can't be nana from it on Yom Tov, because you're not allowed to benefit from a malacha that a guy did for a yid, even, and this is probably the most screamed about things by Rabbonim, even if the guy did it for you without you asking him to do it. It has nothing to do with you asking him to do it or not. A guy does a malacha for a Jew, you're not allowed to benefit from that. On Shabbos,
for you, though.
What?
He does have to have you in mind when he does.
He did it for you. Yes, that's what I said. Okay.
He's not doing it for himself at all? That would make a difference.
We'll see. It's not going to make a difference. We'll see. Depends what the subject is. If you put it in your mouth and you chew it out, you have to spit it out. And it's also muksa. You have to wait to benefit from it after Yantif. ונוגin lahachmer im eino tzarech Yom Tov, tzarech orchim chai gavna, as nogin lahakil on Rosh Hashanah. V'chein hudi ad sheni tzarech lahamtin motzei Shabbat chdei sheyasu. Our shnei yomim shel Rosh Hashanah or b'Yom Tov asamuch l'Shabbos bein milfon and bein ma'achrov, when you have two kedushas that are vadai, not like Yom Tov Sheni. Im huva barishon tzarech lahamtin on motzei Yom Tov Shabbos chdei sheyasu. You have to wait for both days to pass. Now this takes away all the guessing work. You live in Beit Shemesh, and a guy has a field in Tzova, okay? And the guy, if that was a guy, right? And he went, and you have to wait for him to go from his house to Tzova and back. I can't say how long does it take from after you pick it, just the picking of it. It's the whole bodel, the what?
The kidding caboodle.
Yeah, but it's the whole process. The whole process, which is very important. And
doesn't matter if he's riding on a donkey or driving a car.
However he goes.
However he goes, that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. V'im is stapik mehechonivi, and you're not sure where the guy got them from. Here comes a kula. Shiur b'chtei shiyavu mechutz l'tchum. You can be meko. Thank you. If he brought it as far as it takes to get to from chutz l'tchum. Okay. Some Mishnah Berurah Aleph. Darim li Yisrael, who adin lehevi limkor be'ir sharov Yisrael darim bo demin hastan limkor Yisrael heviyum. He must have brought them if regular people are Jews. So he brought it. We say he brought it for the Rav. V'chein bekatzatz la'akom mo'os lahavi lo peres ha'dagam erev Yom Tov v'eviyam b'Yom Tov kulu aser. D'lo yamrina adaita nafshe ovid k'dei laharviach or lahashem kulu aser. That which I go to work in order that I should be able to sell it to a Jew, that's not called that I went to work for myself. I went to work in order that a Jew should benefit from it, so therefore that's called I did it for the Jew. Even though he did it for the Jew so that the Jew should pay him. And the Jew has this is a very important idea, the Jew has no responsibility to buy it from you.
What's the category of that he's doing it for himself? They're always doing it for something.
They're always doing it?
for someone to pay them to do the work.
So if it would be a ir sharubai akum, then it would be permissible. Because we say you do it for the roiv.
Well, we said for an uman also, right?
And that's incomplete. An uman also what?
They can be doing that and not take up.
It depends on which situation. If it's a kablin is aldaita denashi ovid, and there it's he's never does it for you. He's always doing it for himself.
He's sewing me a suit. He's doing it for me to pay for the suit. How's that different?
Because the work that he is doing it. There it doesn't say that you can benefit from it on Shabbos. It just says that he's allowed to do it for you on Shabbos.
Right.
We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about right now benefiting from it on Shabbos. Okay.
Enough from both is equally usher, meaning even if the guy even if a guy does it for me with kablonis and finishes on Shabbos, if the guy brings you back the shoes on Shabbos.
Yeah, that's another shiloh. But okay. And here we have this whole discussion about Yontif Sheni and the 2 days of Yontif. And
these are fresh baked lafas in the corner on Kikar Shabbos, Matzah Pesach.
you would have to wait Kadesh Yasa. If they're kosher.
Okay.
No, it's. I just would like to make a statement. This is a very important statement. I'm right now switching to Hilchos Kashrus. If one is Mekel and he eats pas palter, okay, that you have to start off over there, and you say that the Arabs who make this are palters, which that could very well be. I'm not arguing that point. I have no information. Even if that's true, you have to know that it's made kosher. In other words, there are things that are added to bread that may not be kosher, and you have to know. Yeah, there could be shortening. There could be all different, all different things. You have to know that it's kosher. So even there's two questions. You have to know that it's kosher, and you have to know that it's a palter, and you have to know that you're mekel on pas palter. And if all those things are true, and it's after Kadesh Yasa, then you can benefit. How long is Kadesh Yasa? I would say that if you asked me, you probably would have to wait at least an hour after Shabbos Yontif is over. How long does it take to make a bread?
So which process do you have to start?
Kneading. You have to wait for it to rise.
Right. So
making pizzas is pretty quick.
but they're not making bread that you eat, right? It's not. It's a different. It's a thinner thing. Like a pita takes. Okay, that's my wife's phone. I'm just putting it off. Okay.
Doesn't take longer for him to make it and bring it from wherever the far he lived. I don't know wherever he made these things.
They live in the old city.
It takes 15 minutes.
What takes 15 minutes?
What part?
Yeah. From when it was a seed?
Yeah, right. When do you catch 1 minute?
What?
1 minute.
Even a matzah takes that long.
Yeah. How long does it take to make a matzah?
From when do we start? From kneading?
I want to know. I think I said something relatively fair. You're standing on the corner of Malchei Yisrael.
Okay.
How long does it take to get from Shar Yafa to Malchei Yisrael? 7 minutes. But no, you can't. It's not right. Right. So the guy lives in the old city, right by the door, and he makes his pita. How long does it take to get there? I don't think you can get there in an hour. maybe an hour. On a pita, let's say a pita takes like a matzah, right? Let's say. I don't know how long these breads take. They rise. They're a little bit thicker. But you'd have to wait that amount of time. But I would just make it simple. Probably by the time you go home from davening and you made havdalah, it's already that amount of time. Okay. Now I'll just mention the world famous story of the Night of Yehuda. I don't know if we ever discussed this. The Night of Yehuda. This is, I think I mentioned it in a Pirkei Avos here once. This story is a world famous story. The Night of Yehuda did something which, if I was asked, I don't know if I would have done it. The halacha is that you give tzedakah to Goyim together with Jews. Mishum Eva Mivnei Darkei Shalom. How much you're supposed to do, it's not exactly clear. But if you look in Chazal and all the stories of the Gedolim, they treated Goyim just like Jews. They gave them a full, whatever they needed. The story was the Night of Yehuda. One night, a freezing cold night, somebody knocked on his door. It was a kid, a Goyish kid who was crying, and he said that my father got remarried, and my father's the baker, and my new mother, my stepmother, she sends me out every morning with bread to sell, and she doesn't let me back into the house until I sell whatever, And today, after I finished selling whatever I was supposed to sell, somebody stole all the money from me. And I'm scared to go home. So this was the only light that was on in the city. So he went to here, and the Night of Yehuda gave him some food and gave him the amount of money that he had to give to his mother, and sent him going, Kamarnu. 30 years later, on the 7th of Pesach, this big guy knocks on the Night of Yehuda's door, and he says he wants to speak to him in private. And he goes into the room, and he says, "You don't recognize me? I used to be this little kid, and I'm just telling you, all the bakers, he already yarshened his father's bakery, all the bakers got together, and they decided that on Motzei Pesach, they're putting poison into the bread, and they're going to get rid of all the Jews. So no Jews should buy bread on Motzei Pesach." So now, if you want to speak about a miracle happening, go to a pizza store in America and find out how much the first pie costs. Motzei Pesach. What?
He gives it to tzedakah. He raffles it off, and I think the money goes to tzedakah.
Okay, but it's what it goes for. I'm not right now talking about. Okay, it costs more than a good amount of money, and so how are you going to get these Jews not to buy the bread? So Night of Yehuda said that there was a mistake this year on the calendar, and Pesach is another day. And so, you're willing to buy pizza after Pesach, but not on Pesach. So nobody bought bread, and then the thing was over, and then they eventually found out about it, and that was how he saved the city, because he did a chesed for a Goyish child. It's a fascinating story. Anyways, they waited more than Chodesh Yasa that year. And now, next halacha. Afilu tolshon ein Yehudi otzalem ma'atzmoi, or nafal min ha'ilin atzmoi, or nitzad me'atzmoi, also lachol boy b'yom, or letaltaloi. Even if he did it for himself, you're not allowed to af l'mi sheloi huva b'shviloi. Avo ba'erev mutar miyad. But at night they're mutar right away. U'miyatze Yom Tov af l'mi shehuva b'shviloi. But this is the halacha that you're not allowed to benefit from the malacha on the Yom Tov.
Wait, this is he had made it for himself?
Yeah, but this food...
And he had left over?
He decided to give it to you. You're his friend.
So, and what's the problem with that?
You're not allowed to benefit from the malacha that was done.
He did it totally for himself.
Yes, but you're not allowed to benefit, and this says that this is a special Yom Tov halacha. You're not allowed to benefit from malacha that was done on Yom Tov. Okay. Va'afilu im safek im natloi oy nitzadu hayom asurim. Even if you have a suffix, I will im nikar b'hem shelo nikar tosh nitzru hayom. You can tell they're kamush. Mutter lemi shelo huvu b'shvila. Ay lo yobah b'chutz l'tchum. Mutter af lo yobah b'shvila. Ve'enim Yehudi masiach lefi tuma shelo nilkad hayom or nitzar hayom nemon. And if he says it masiach lefi tuma when he picked it, that's good enough. Any Yehudi shehevi doiron midvarim sheyesh b'minim u'chuber b'yom tov rishon. Rosh Hashanah shechal yos b'chamish b'Shabbos. Yesh matim le'achim b'Shabbos chnei sheyasu. On Rosh Hashanah, where it's kedusha achas, so the question is, do we play this game of saying that it's one day is chol, one day is kodesh? Yesh machmirim v'yesh oisrim. V'lidda nogin lahachmir v'shnei tovim shel golias nami dina hachi. V'le'in halacha din v'shnei tovim shel Rosh Hashanah yesh lahachmir b'Shabbos, and you shouldn't eat it on Shabbos either. Because you look at it and say it's one day, and it's like two kedushas, one next to the other. If you have Yom Tov Thursday and Friday, you can benefit from it on Shabbos. Dafka if they don't need any preparation. Also, why? Since since they're usher in tiltal, therefore it's usher to do anything. Okay. Next halacha. Davar she'ein b'mina mechuber. It's not something which, in order to pick it, you have to do a malacha. Ve'ein mechus tzeda. V'imba b'tarchat chom muter lakol. If it's a regular thing, it's muter for everybody. V'imba b'chutz l'tchom asur l'achlan. And if it came from outside of the tchum, you're not allowed to benefit from it if it was brought for you. You're allowed to be metal to them arba amos, or in a chotzer that was hookah for dir. Other people can eat them also. ולערב יום טוב ראשון צריך להמתין שיהו בשבילו כדי שיעשו. ומותר לאחר אפילו לדידון שנוגע להחמיר בשאר דברים כמו שהסבר. Okay, this I just make this halacha very important. Here you see the division between the muksa and being nene. You're not allowed to be nene, but there's no isser of muksa on it. Ir sharuba elim Yehudim. If you have a city that's roiv goyim, min hastam kol hamevi לצורך הרוב מביא, ומחצה או שאין ידיעה שליקת לצורך שניים, אוסר. And if it's 50-50, it's אוסר. Okay. ואם הוא ספק אם בו מחוץ לתחום, או אינו יהודי שורי בו אצל עיר, הפרס מצויים בעיר, מותר, ואם לאו אוסר. דבר שאין במין המחובר. They're detached, והוא בו לישראל ביום טוב ראשון של ראש השנה, מותר בשני. והוא הדין בשבס ויום טוב סמוכים זה לזה. Even by שתי קדושות, you don't have to be worried about the muksa. Okay. Yisrael sheshiger doira lechavera al yedei eino Yehudi me'erev Yom Tov. If a Jew sent something with a guy on erev Yom Tov, v'nis akev ha'eino Yehudi ve'aviyam be'Yom Tov michutz l'tchum, and the guy got drunk on the way, and he didn't bring it before Yom Tov, mutar afilu mi shehuva b'shvila la'ochlam. He has a lot of benefit from them. I will also l'chol yisol etaltalam chutz la'arba amos. You're not allowed to be metaltal them because it has an isimux on it. O chutz le'er b'kufas chama, o mechutz l'mivtza she'edush v'gov adira. V'davka sh'haya daitoi me'esmol the less bei isimuksa. Aval im lo haya lav daitoi me'esmol afagav the less le'isir tchumim also mishum muksa. You have a problem of muksa. The chol she'en yisol tzach ha'chanim mibad yom afil mishul ahuva b'shiloi aser. Okay, because whenever you need achana, you didn't have achana, so then it's awesome. Okay, next simon. L'shloach lechaver b'yom tov b'hem ha'chayiv ha'oif chayim yainos u'shmona v'sodas v'kitnios avaloi tfuah. You're allowed to send all kinds of raw items, except for tfuah. L'fisha b'chuseres tchina shehi malach asur b'yom tov, because you can't do anything with flour, you can't eat it.
Is that because muksa or because you're not supposed to send it to your friend because you might do the wrong thing?
No, you can't send it because he can't use it.
And therefore?
You can't send it.
What happened? Just because you can't use it, why can't I send it?
because it's not called you're giving him something that's useful on Yom Tov.
Why can't he just
It's
roast
the
it?
sinas matana that killing the sinas matana.
I don't know. I think that somebody asked that question about roasting it. Says the Mishnah Berurah, "Lefisha muchsaras tchina, v'af agav desar chazin lebehema b'li tchina, mikol makom ruban amdis letchina lemay choladam lechem v'chaver tzarich hayam liten turas lebehema mutar l'shlachu b'makom sheyesh erov for his behema." Okay, so there's a theoretically, if you knew that was what the person's going to use it for, you could. But we assume that the person's going to grind it, and therefore you're not allowed to send it. Kol davar shamutar l'shlach b'yom tov lo yishlachenu b'shura dahainu shlosha b'nei adam ha'yoseh zechar zeh noisin kula min echad aval kol echad noisin min acher mutar. This has to do with a Yom Tov halacha of Avshei Milsa. Okay, now this is the next halacha is fascinating. Mishalchim kelim afapi she'enam tfurim. You're allowed to send clothing even though it's not sewn together, half-done clothing. Why shem ru'in leishav aleim? You could use them to lishon aleim. You could use them as a pillow. Afilu hem yesh b'hem kilayim im hem koshim. Even if they have shatnez in them, if they're hard, then there's no isser of shatnez. U'mishalchim tefillin kivan sheru'in lanichem b'chol. And you're allowed to send tefillin because you could wear them b'chol. What does that help? They can wear them b'chol. What? What? So the answer is, the Mishnah Berurah says, because a person is happy to receive them. I don't understand exactly what that means. I have a bit of an understanding.
You'll be happy to receive wheat for later use.
Anything I'll be happy. Just give me, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll keep it for tomorrow.
No, but even tfu in the olden days, it was food. Meaning, shalchmanis, they sent food because people wanted that they had a real. Nowadays, we have too much.
Okay. Okay. Why does the Mishnah Berurah says Yud Beis? Afagav she'atzal asi shum dar b'yom tov kol she'eno tzarech loy ve'eno moitzi el tzarech chol kemo she'nizbayer mikol mokom kivan shu nene v'samech b'ma she'mel shalech d'roilis l'chaveroi harei zeh tzarech simchas Yom Tov. Okay. So now the next next Mishnah Berurah, we'll read the next Mishnah Berurah because it adds light to make things a little more difficult. B'chol lafuke tfuah that we said is aser. Mishum da'afilu b'chol ein ruya lehenas b'loy tchina. So the simple reading of the Mishnah Berurah,
Processing,
right? So now there are those, if I'm not mistaken, the question is, can a person wear tefillin on Yom Tov? What happens if a person's walking in the street and he finds a pair of tefillin on Shabbos and there's no eruv? So you're allowed to put them on. Now, if we learn Hilchos Shabbos, tefillin are not necessarily muksa. So how much does that play a role? And if I'm not mistaken, the Achronim are busy with this also over here.
Would that be different than Yom Tov?
No, but is that part of the reason why we're matir it?
Why would it be different?
I used to go to Harlem.
No, it's for sure not muksa on Yom Tov. But is that a reason that you're allowed to send them? Okay, the subject we're discussing over here is the sending of them. Okay, all right. Next siman. Mutar loymar lechem v'nilasis le'beitim u'agoyz v'shamini machal mishnah dina b'yom tov k'mo b'Shabbos, and how a person can do that. V'mu ena Yehudi aso likach men adavar she'amina mechubar or she'amina b'chusatzed. You're not allowed to take from something which you have a shash that maybe there was a malacha done. LMK nikar b'hem shelo nilkato or shenitzadu hayom. It's clear that they weren't taken on Yom Tov. You can't take eggs because they may be fresh. Even if you brought them out of the tchum. We assume that he ground them for any Yehudim, but I did likach mimenu pas she'afo bo bayom. Well, this halacha I don't understand exactly. Why is it different than the last case? Because the malacha that was done over here is mutter to do on Yontif. So even if he baked the bread, you're allowed to do that. Yisrael she'amar la'eni Yehudi mi ba'od yom tikna li yoinim l'mach. What?
It was baked on Shabbos.
Was baked on Shabbos?
It says in brackets, "V'chein nefa b'Shabbos shelafanu."
No, it's ready because they shiasu after Shabbos.
Because you mean Yom Tov after Shabbos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the Mishnah Berurah takes care of that. Why we're more machmer over here? Okay. Yisrael she'amar la'eni Yehudi ba'od yom tikna li yoinim l'machar. He tells the guy before Yontif, buy me yoinim so I can have them for tomorrow. Look, what?
Tomorrow being chol.
Yeah. No, tomorrow is Yontif, but he wants them today. He sends them on Erev Yontif, go buy me pigeons. I want to eat pigeons for Yontif. For tomorrow, but I want them today. Okay? Lo yafa asa. Avam asa kvar mutu lecha mehem b'yontif. V'hu shelo yeh mafrichin. Aval im rogel b'kach, asa lecha mehem. Dein ze chashuv d'yevakiu and sherogel b'kach.
What's the problem ordering pigeons today for Yom Tov?
If you had to capture them.
Oh, he captured them on
Lama lechaver mali kli ze yayin dina b'yontif kol b'Shabbos. How do you work out the mitzvah part? Who I did the asal hatal garos b'yom tov kimo b'Shabbos. Isa in Siman Shin Chof Beis. This is a very well-known halacha, which I think is important for at least people to be aware of. You're not allowed to make a hagrala on Shabbos. That means the simple reading of that is all of those avos ubanims that make hagralot is all aser.
Do a matzah.
What?
A lot of them are known to do a matzah.
Okay, but there are all different kinds of term how it can be done. But you have to know that there's this halacha that has to be taken care
What
of.
about the Kartisia hagrala? Are they matzah?
No, because they do it in a way that it's mutter. There's
What is the
way out?
it's like making a mitzvah.
It's for mitzvah. It's for mitzvah.
So
it's like selling aliyahs.
I can sell matzah.
You can sell aliyahs.
You sell aliyahs, that's a definition, a donation. It's not the same thing.
Oh, why? This is to get kids to learn Torah.
It's not. You're not paying them to learn Torah.
Yeah, you are.
No?
No, you're not.
You encourage them.
I think you're paying
By
them.
my kids, I think it's payment.
Are you encouraging them? If you don't, the next time they won't come. It's not
They're not.
payment.
Either they won't
I
come.
want to tell you
or
something.
they're sick, you know,
Just
physical
to
irony.
prove you the point, I have a friend of mine who's a Rav in America, and he has some kind of a seder for the Balabatim, and the Balabatim take tests. If they do good on the test, they get money. So I asked him, where do you get the money from? He says, the Balabatim donate the money. Right?
So it's the
Right?
Especially they have the here also.
What?
They have it here also.
No, but what's the point? The point is,
Encourage them to.
It's
No.
It's
Here,
something
though,
that
they don't have
competition,
anything
that
else
way.
coming in.
It's,
Their only way to get anything without getting their father to give it to them or the parents to give it to them is their chagrolot or going to Avos Sabanim or they give a long schmooze of how they're going to be millionaires tomorrow through all these.
and therefore what?
It's revach. It's not the balabatim paying into themselves and just giving them an idud. It's
net profit.
net profit.
This way, it's not Muhammadic Kisufra. They have to do something to get the money.
It was their money.
I know, but
Here,
they're
they're trying to
turning
encourage
into
themselves
something
to
that
make
they
some
did
sort
something
of
for.
competition against themselves, whatever.
They
Here,
did something to get
they're
the money the
giving-
first time. I assume they didn't steal it from a bank, right?
Well, we don't know, but still, it gives it more meaning to their money.
It makes their learning more meaningful to them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right?
But here it's different.
The money makes the learning meaningful, or learning makes the money meaningful.
I think the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. They feel that they're accomplishing something if they're learning by the fact they're getting money, but I don't think that they're learning for the money, even though they're doing that. They're not learning for the money.
The balabatim or the kids?
The balabatim.
The balabatim, yeah, for sure not.
Okay.
What is
Well, by the kids, they are.
Agrawah?
Why? So there's this. The simple will start from. There are those that are involved on the tzarich mitzvah. Maybe it's permissible to be done. The simple heter is if a person has the right to change exactly what happens in the middle. In other words, the case the early points can discuss is a father can make a hagrala with his kids. Whoever comes to the table first will get an extra piece of cake. Why? Because it's all his, and he's doling it out, and he's just using this as a system for him to know how to give it out. But it's not really that they have a real right and claim.
But it doesn't say there that he has to give him equal portions to do that, no?
No, then you don't have a hagrala. It has to be that he's being mezaris them.
Sure thing they have a schus tefiyah. When the kid process come late, we learned it's there. We're not going to come again.
Let me tell you something. The kid goes to cheder, and the Rebbe says, "I'm making some kind of mitzvah, and you're going to get a prize." Yeah. And the Rebbe says, "You're a bad kid. You can't have it." He takes it away from him. What happens?
Oh, he's never going to go. No, not going to just fly over.
Excuse me. Does the Rebbe have a right to do that? I didn't say to be smart or not smart.
He has the right.
I don't know.
Okay. You don't know?
No.
I do know. Okay? Well, move it closer to home.
Yeah.
A father told his son that if you do this, I'm going to take you on a trip. And then his mother says, he did this wrong. Says no more trip. Does the father have a right to do that?
Yes.
Why?
Because it was mutna b'tanai. Obviously, they're going to have good behavior until the trip.
Because the father's the balabas. That's the end.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's all. So then that's not called. That doesn't go into the case of Hagrala. If you look at that earlier, that's what is going on. Okay.
If the prices never showed up, if the kids take obviously one to best, would they have a claim?
Too young.
Could be they don't. Could be they don't. I don't know. That depends on how they were set up. Depends on how. Okay. All right. I'm going to read the Hakdama to this halacha. This is a very important halacha. There's a halacha of mitoich. Mitoich means that since this is mutter, you're allowed to be mekel for not the exact reason. That's, I guess, they would call mitoich. V'chein hadin b'havara shchita afiyah ubishol shem melachos ha'ishayachos la'echol nefesh. The halacha of mitoich applies to all of these things which are part of echol nefesh: havara, shchita, afiyah, and bishol. Amrinan b'hu mitoich v'af dechsiv achash yachol nefesh hu levada yasalachem. Even though the pasuk says that they're only mutter for echol nefesh. Kiblu Chazal da kavana hu the oisem malachos haragil lasot tzarech hanefesh afilim ata ein kavanas tzarech oichol hitira Torah v'ayin lekamon sharamosiyim v'hoitzad aridim bod v'inan shiakaponen tzarech ksas v'adim chol anal. That even though we're mater the tzarech, a different tzarech, it has to have some kind of a connection to Yontif. Huter shalai l'tzarech afilu lo hoitzi oisem b'rishus harabim. The kosher came the Carmelites. You're allowed to take it out. Now we're going to look at the examples. Kigoin katan, to carry a katan. The carry katan is talking about you take a kid in a stroller to do his bris. Why should they be able to do that?
It's not orchol nefesh.
You don't eat a bris.
Right, it's not orchol.
Right. So why should we be able to do?
We don't.
Okay, that's the answer, but. Maybe perhaps one would say that it's the father's mitzvah, right? You have a mitzvah to do a bris, right? I don't know if that's good enough.
If you don't do the bris, people aren't going to have to eat.
This is the appetizer. Okay. Katan, lulav, there, that's directly for the mitzvah. Sefer Torah v'kelim. Okay, now, if you have the cotton and you're carrying the cotton so that the kid shouldn't cry, that's for sure mutter. You can leave the kid home and he won't cry. The yismach ha'av l'tayel imoy gam kemuter. The father wants to take his kid out for a walk. You're allowed to do that, even though why? V'hu simchas Yom Tov mikri tzarech hayom. That's called. It has some kind of a relationship.
If he doesn't want to take the kid, but his wife wants him to take it for her simplicity.
Okay. They should speak to the rabbi. I don't think there's anything to do with the subject. Lulav v'sefer Torah, lulav lotzes boy, v'sefer Torah likras boy, hu tzarech mitzvah, and therefore that's called tzarech hayom. Tzrichim lo iktzas liyom tov, v'akelim kodev, v'afilu ein tzarech lehem rak l'shem tachshit l'skashet b'hem. Aval shaloi l'tzarech klal havi ka'avonim, v'kos v'apoisim dehu adin demuter lahoitzi. This is a fascinating halacha. Muter lahoitzi maftech shesoige boy ha'oichlin v'akelim shetzarech lo'isa hayom. You're afraid to leave them at home. So if there's some reason you're afraid that if you're going to leave, in yeshiva, the cook wants to take the key to the kitchen because he's afraid that if he leaves the kitchen open, when he comes back, there won't be any food for later on. So you're allowed to take the key. Okay? All right.
So carrying, people are pretty hefty with carrying things.
Where? None of this halacha applies to Ramat and Shemesh.
In Brooklyn, before there was an Erev.
I mean, even Switzerland.
I want to tell you something. In Brooklyn, before there was an Erev, people didn't carry things stomachs. Yeah.
They didn't carry.
I would tell you, here in Ramat Beit Shemesh, people don't carry things stomachs. You tell me what you carry, and I'll tell you why you're allowed to carry it.
Tissues I needed to use in shul, that I plan on putting them with all the rest of the tissues. They're going to be used for 25 years from now.
It's fine.
You could use it.
You could use it. Anything that there's a tzad, you may end up using it. It's
Not I'm putting it in machzana of all my tissues.
You're going to do that later, but if you get to shul and you see that you need it, you may use it.
No, I'm bringing him home. I'm bringing him home and I'm putting it in the drawer with the 25 other packs of tissues.
Well, maybe you use those. Can I ask you a question?
We don't know what
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a hachana question. I would like to have soda on the second night of Rosh Hashanah. I look. I look in my fridge on Rosh Hashanah in the morning, and I see that there's a bottle of soda there. So I take a bottle of soda, a warm bottle of soda, and I put it in the fridge. And Rosh Hashanah Suda, I eat a fresh bottle of soda. And I leave the bottle of soda that's there for the night. Is that permissible to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you
Much.
enjoy better. It's
Much have you done today?
fresher food.
Because you're using what you did on that day.
What?
You're using what you did on that day.
Right. So even though I had absolutely no need,
It's a little Ramahud.
I didn't have any need to do what I did, but that's permissible to do. Now, if I have tissues in my house and I brought these tissues home and I use them, that's okay.
And you use them.
But I have a tzad to use them.
I made up today because I have 20 other packs of the tissues. There's a tissue, the tissue stands in my house all have tissues in them. I don't need these tissues in my house. I just need them not in the shul because everyone's going to think that they're shul tissues and I'm not going to have any tissues left. So I'm bringing them home so other people shouldn't use it. That's it. Could I use it? It's true.
Yes.
Many people might knock on the door.
No, you could use one.
I could. But I'm not. I don't really. I can make it up.
It doesn't matter.
I can make a hapchi right near them and use them.
Right. That's all. That's all you need.
What does it say? You use your tissues and it's in your pocket. You have to check your pocket before you go out.
On Yom Tov? Is there a tzad that you may use them?
They're used already. You're not going to.
Oh, you use tissues?
You use tissues. You don't want to leave them on the table in the shul because.
Yeah, you should throw them out.
People,
You should throw them out.
You should check them, or you
I
have
think
to,
so.
or whatever.
I'll just tell you that used tissues you could usually use. That's my
Once
experience.
they dry enough.
Well, they used to do it with the kerchiefs.
Handkerchiefs.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now here I would like to see this Ramah because there's a very big tumult on this Ramah. Mutter lischak bekadur afilu b'shus harabim. You're allowed to play on Yom Tov with a ball, even in Rishus Harabim. Af agav she'enu ela til ba'alma. Okay?
What? Tiyul?
Tiyul baum. Okay? V'miniach eruv mutar talta lohoitzi kol sheyesh lo toras kli af al pi she'en tzarch hayom klal. If you have an eruv, then there's no problem. Now, I just like to see this thing on the kadur because the Mishnah Berurah is very interesting over here. Rotzari lem af agav da yedei zerogel lahavar da'aram v'simakol makom afilach mutar du bechlal tiyul v'simchas Yom Tov. V'rashal kosav. The dover temahu lahatizeh. The aim boy tzarch hayom klal. This has absolutely no purpose. Ela schoik shel yiladim v'hanach lahem. It's kids playing around, and it's bad enough that the kids do. Awal gedolim shenag bo minakain rahu. The ain zeh simcha v'tiyul. It doesn't fit the category of simcha v'tiyul. Ela sichas yiladim v'kalas roish. It's purposeless. Ubalavachi ein din zem muskim l'kuli alma. The dasa b'chaber lesser, as it says in Simon Ches, Hilchos Shabbos, that it's aser. V'chein shar mini ischoik, dinon kamo b'Shabbos, kamo vur b'Simon Shin Lamed Ches. So this halacha is very important.
Nowadays, when people are basically children their whole life.
I mean, what do you mean? Some people don't allow the student chol. Once you have to learn Yom Tov.
Right.
One more time.
Said what is the Yom Tov? Even children chol, some people are playing with the ball.
All right. Okay.
No, people are different nowadays.
What? One more time. What's your question?
I knew people who couldn't go without playing ball. It's adults.
Okay, that's your question. You know, people can't go without listening to music.
There's people who can't do that either.
Okay, and what do they do on Shabbos?
Manage. Sing to themselves.
They go to a Karlach menu.
The answer to the question is that you are talking about people who this is what they would like to do. When you tell me a person can't, they don't find them in the hospital withdrawal systems.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
mental problem.
Yeah, all right. Okay, we'll stop over here. Whoa.
I mean, people can go through without eating all day Shabbos also. They do, because they enjoy it.